Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Autohrycfix. So today is the day. We're going to be replacing the crossmember on my 1997 Honda Civic. The restoration continues. For those of you that are new to the channel, I used to be a mechanic at Honda for 15 years, and now I'm just going to be showing you guys some tricks and tips that I've learned over the years. But again, today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to start by removing the crossmember from the car. Um, while I was a mechanic, that was one of my jobs that I liked the least because it entails a lot of work, especially on these older vehicles. On the newer ones, it's a crossmember that's usually just bolted and to the frame, and there's not that many things that are attached to it, depending on each make and model. But on this one here, we have to remove the exhaust, the shifter cable. I'll show you guys how to remove the column from the rack and pinion, because the rack and pinion is inside the crossmember. So let's go. Let's get this started, and I'll show you how this is done. All right. So before we get started, I just want to show you why we're changing the crossmember. As you can see, there is a huge hole here where the crossmember is bolted to the car, and this is a very important part. It holds the lower table to the crossmember. So we're going to go ahead and remove this whole crossmember. Alright, so as you guys can see, I've already jacked up the car, and I've put my jack stands. I measured that I would need to at least lift the car about a foot high so that I can remove the crossmember safely and slide it from underneath the car. And also so I can easily get underneath the car and remove all the things that I need to remove. First steps. For the bottom part of the car, because you'll have to also remove a few things in the engine compartment, but I'll go ahead and show you that afterwards. But for now, you have to detach your tie rods from your spindle and remove your ball joint from the lower table. I've already had and gone and removed that. I used a 17mm key, and I just simply tapped on it to remove to detach the tie rod end from the spindle, as you can see. Alright, so as for underneath the car, you'll have to remove the front pipe of the exhaust because it passes right under where the crossmember is. So I went ahead and removed my front pipe from my catalytic converter. It was 314mm bolts here, and there was a 10mm, two 10mm bolts in behind, and then we had the two spring bolts that attached to the center pipe. I also went ahead and removed my center pipe from its brackets so that I could slide it over, because again, the crossmember is right in the middle where everything kind of joins and you need the space. Alright, so the next step is going to be to detach the shifter cable from the transmission. There we go. From the transmission that's right here. There is a cover that was right here. I removed it. There's two bolts on each side, and you just got to slide it out. For a manual cars, what you're going to have to do is remove your shifter rods. I'll show you a little picture of how it is on a manual transmission. There's two rods. One is bolted directly to the transmission, which is just like a stabilizer, and the other one is actual shifter rod that is pinned into the shifter. You'll have to just pop it out and remove the shifter rods. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove my shifter cable, and I'll show you. In here, there is a 10mm bolt that you just have to remove, and the shifter cable will come free. There's a little tab that is folded over the nut so that you can it locks it in place. So you'll have to just bend that over, and then afterwards you'll be able to remove it. right. So that's the little nut, and there's your little tab that was on it. Then we just go ahead and remove the cable, and we'll just put it over back here like that. So as you can see, the cross member here, everything passes in front of it. So after that, we're gonna go up on top, and I will show you guys exactly what to remove so that you can free up the cross member. All right, what the things you need to remove in the engine compartment. I went ahead and I removed my airbox because to give me as much space as possible, because you have to get down there, and there is a engine support where the engine is bolted to the engine support, which is bolted onto the cross member. So you're gonna have to remove that one bolt. It's usually a 17mm socket, and it's quite long. I'll go ahead and show you that. At the same time, you're gonna have your rack, your high pressure line of your rack and pinion steering that you're gonna have to remove. And personally, what I usually do is I bring it down with me, and then I unscrew it from the rack when the cross member is on the floor. So you're going to need a 10mm socket to remove these two 10mm bolts. I usually close off the system. I try and use vice grips to clamp off wherever I can to have the least amount of oil that falls out of the system from the rack and pinion. It is a messy job, but we try and keep it clean. So the bolt that I'll be trying to remove is for the engine support, is one that is right here. This is the engine support, and this is the engine support bracket that is attached to the engine, but this is the support that is attached to the cross member. So we're going to have to remove that. This is why we removed the air filter. And also on the cross member, you can also see that there is the low pressure of the power steering that is bolted on to the cross member, and there's also a line, the high pressure line is also bolted on with a bracket. So you have to remove those two as well before lowering the cross member. And as I said before, these are the two bolts that you'll be removing for the high pressure line. It's just right there, it goes all the way down. And as you can see, I put a vice grip to block off any fluid from leaking out of the system. The least amount of oil, the easier the cleanup. Another thing I'd just like to mention, for security reasons, what I would best do is, if you have anything that could support the engine when you're removing the cross member. If you can purchase a brace, or like for me, for instance, I have my strut bar here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to attach my engine to the strut bar just to give me a little bit of leverage, because yes, the engine is on its other two engine supports, one there and one on the transmission side, but it will flex, it'll move back and forth, and you don't want that. And also just for safety reasons. All right, so now that we've removed everything we need to remove under the hood, and we have basically removed somewhat almost everything underneath the car for now, we're going to get into the vehicle, and we're going to just detach the rack and pinion from the steering column inside the car. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you that. Basically, it's you follow your steering column, and on these models, the column is covered with a black tube. You remove that black tube, and you have a 10mm socket that you just need to remove, and you just slide it up, and then afterwards it'll be free. One important thing to remember is that when you're removing disconnecting your steering column from your rack and pinion, make sure that your steering wheel stays straight, and that you put maybe a piece of tape so that it doesn't spin around, because in later models, especially vehicles that have ABS, SRS and airbags, there is a unit that is behind the steering wheel that calculates the turns, and there's like a ribbon in there, and you don't want that to get out of sequence, or you don't want to tear the ribbon, because if it does, what's going to happen is that you'll have an SRS light afterwards, and that part is quite costly. So again, just tape the steering wheel, or try and make it so it doesn't turn or doesn't spin while removing it. And also another thing, by keeping it in place, when you reinstall the rack and pinions, you'll be able to put it back in the right position. Another tip as well, at the U-joint, at the steering column and the rack and pinion, I usually put a mark so that when you put the rack and pinion back, you slide it back into place, you're very close to not having to have to make an alignment. All right, so let's go ahead and remove that joint. All right, so just gonna remove this. There's a clip there. There should be another one on top. And you just gotta pull and remove, and there is your joint. So we're gonna make a little mark here and there, and then we're just gonna loosen this one and slide it up. Alright, so now that we've disconnected our steering column from our rack and pinion, all we have left to do is to remove the main bolts that are holding the cross member in place. And then we will slowly put it down to the ground and slide it from underneath the car. Alright guys, just be careful when doing this. All right, so there you have it. Cross member is out of the car. Now, the only thing that's left to do is we're going to just remove the rack and pinion and remove the tables. And yeah, so to remove the high pressure line from your rack and pinion, you're going to need a 14 millimeter pipe key. That's the best thing to use so you don't strip it. And you just unscrew and we'll remove it. Same thing with the low pressure line. There's another little rubber hose back here with another 14 millimeter socket key that'll remove that. To remove your lower tables, you'll need 19 millimeter sockets to remove here, and then afterwards we'll flip it over and we'll remove the rest of the things. So here's a better view of underneath the rack and pinion. As you can see just there, there's my huge hole. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove the bolt there and the rear bolt there so we can remove the bracket for the upper lower tables. We're gonna remove the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts that are there to remove that brace. There's gonna be another bolt that's right there and another one just on top here so that you can remove that. And we're gonna slide the rack and pinion out of its place. And we'll take this plate off just in case for the other cross member that we purchase, and if it doesn't have it, at least we'll have it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. All right, well, there you have it. Cross member is removed. And rack and pinion is taken out. All right, so there you have it. It wasn't as easy as we thought, but we did it. Like I said, it's something that I've done before in the past, from 15 years of experience that I've had at Honda. And it's never easy, and it's not the cleanest job either to do, but you can do it. So on the next episode, what we'll be doing is we'll be reinstalling the cross member, and we'll keep on going on our list. And if you guys are new to the channel and haven't watched the previous episodes, you can go ahead and watch the repairing the brake lines and bleeding the systems. So again, thanks for watching. Share, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.